What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Today's discussion is asking the question, would Max B have made it big? Had Max B not got locked up in 2009, would he be a star right now? Where would his career end up? And it's a fascinating question to think about. It's one of those questions where there's really no right or wrong answer because we'll never get to see what could have become of it. All we have is like speculation based on where he was going at the time. I think I was privileged to watch Max B's career unfold in real time. Like from about 2007 is when I first heard about Max B. In fact, without Max B, without his public domain too, there would be no Sermon's Domain. I have no idea what the brand would be called if Public Domain 2 didn't come out a few weeks prior to me starting Sermon's Domain. So I always had a soft spot for Max B. I thought he was very talented, he was very unique, and he was an artist that I saw honestly going places. He has that sound that I could have imagined seeing a bunch of different artists using him for a hook. He just had that gift. And so I think him utilizing the internet, putting out so much music, he was really gaining a following. You look at French Montana now. French Montana and Max B were around the same point. In fact, Max B was bigger, in my opinion. I always looked at Max B as a bigger artist out of the two. When they were doing Coke Wave, I was more excited for Max B, and that's not to say French Montana was slacking off, because French Montana proved his worth, but I always liked Max B a little bit more. And so I always thought that if he didn't get locked up, he would be a big name right now. But it's hard to figure out like how big. Would he be like a Wiz Khalifa big? I don't think so. I don't think he had that crossover appeal. There's no way I see Max B coming up with like a Black and Yellow, like a huge hit single that just goes everywhere. Max B is the type who would have a great underground following and be able to tour the country. It would just be like a very low-key fan base, and I see him having regional hits. I could see him like French Montana, for instance, had New York Minute featuring Jadakiss, and then there was a remix with Mace. That record was not a huge hit single. It wasn't all over Billboard, but it was big in New York at the time. So I can see Max B doing something like that. In the same way that you might hear more about Uncle Murder or Mano. Like those two might have more records all over the radio in New York than anywhere else. So their careers are still thriving. And that's where I kind of see Max B. I think he would be that artist that always had respect, that works with a lot of different people. And really it depends on where Max B would have taken his career. As you know, he's put out countless mixtapes. And if you look online on iTunes, there's not as many albums. I remember when Max B signed a deal with the Malcolm Digital. And I thought they were pretty big at the time. They had Max B, they had Joe Budden, and I want to say they did Saigon. They did some other names too. But they had Max B, and I thought, okay, this is the part where Max B kind of makes that leap. You're about to put out your debut album, Vigilante Season, and that's going to take off for him. And I really believe that. So really, it all depends on where he was going to go. If he was going to continue in that direction of putting out retail music all the time, I think he would have been ahead of the curve just a little bit. Because at the time, it was more common to get all these free mixtapes. Now, we're seeing like the shift in the digital era and the streaming era where it's no longer as common to drop a mixtape. If you drop a mixtape, there's like a purpose behind it. Like you might be freestyling over somebody's beats or you're an up-and-coming artist. But all the big names now, they might put out a mixtape on an Apple Music. It's a mixtape. They classify it as a mixtape, but it's on there so you can buy and stream and they get that money as opposed to just dropping it for free. There's not as many benefits. And so I wonder if Max B would have understood that and went into that direction. Another thing that I was thinking about when it comes to Max B is how he would be on this era, like social media wise. Max B on Twitter he wasn't really too fascinating on Twitter. I can't say there was any memorable moments, any tweets that I'm like, okay, Max B said this, I'm still dying about it to this day. No, there wasn't any of that. Instead, he was very heavy on YouTube. He knew how to utilize the street DVDs, the come up DVDs, the smack DVDs, various other DVDs that I'm not drawing a name for right now. He knew how to get out there and do these interviews, and these interviews are legendary. Just YouTube Max B interview, watch one. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna be like, this guy is crazy. This guy is funny. I always thought he had a really great personality, so I would love to see how that would have translated now that we have Instagram, we have Snapchat, we got Instagram Live, Facebook Live, and all these different social media outlets now. And I think Max B would have really flourished on here. Just imagine him on Snapchat, just talking about some random stuff all the time. I wouldn't say that it would be as big as DJ Khaled. It could be. But I know for a fact that it would probably be successful for Max B. Another small aspect that I wanted to throw in real brief is that I also see Max B influencing a lot more artists if he was not locked up. You look at like a Chief Keef and how Chief Keef, or you can say Future, there's a couple different artists in this generation that have really influenced. You could say Lil Wayne as well. There's a lot of people that say I was influenced by Lil Wayne. He's one of the biggest. You can hear it in their music, even like a Young Thug. So there's like a bunch of different names that you could say influence a lot of different artists in this generation. And I think Max B would have been someone like that. You can tell that he's influenced people like Wiz Khalifa, but I don't think he had as big an impact as he would have if he was out. I look at Max B as having such a unique sound. As I said earlier, he raps, he sings. He's not the best singer in the world, but he makes it work for him. And now you see that in other artists. Other artists can't sing, but they're able to make it work. And I think I keep coming back to the Wiz Khalifa example because it's fresh in my mind. But Wiz Khalifa is someone like that. He doesn't sit here and try to be like the best singer in the world, but he can make it work on a hook if he needs it to. So I just believe that Max B would have had more influence. That's the other aspect that I wanted to include in this discussion. So the question is really open-ended. I have no real idea where Max B would have been right now. I can only hope that Max B would have been still making music, and still making good music at that. And still having fans, still having people that want to pay to see him perform, that want to see him on collaborations with whoever. Now I open up the floor to you guys. I want to know, do you think Max B would have made it big? And how big? Where do you see his career being in 2017 if he wasn't locked up right now? Then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter at @SermonsDomain, and as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, peace.